Happy New Year.
Have you been to Fayetteville before?
Never to play a game. I've been there a couple of times, but never for basketball purposes. Trying to learn about the Walmart industry is the only time I've been there, and the Tyson chicken industry.
Yeah. I understand it's sold out, so it'll probably be a pretty rowdy
That's awesome.
place.
Yeah, Coach has done an incredible job. I think he inherited 9 players. Jimmy Witt, number 33, came back. I guess he started his career there and then is ending his career there. That's unique. But done an incredible job. I haven't watched them from last year, but they're doing a really good job relative to what Coach is asking and having a lot of success. I think they're in the net. They're the second highest ranked team in the SEC. And so, yeah, done a phenomenal job.
How would you describe his style?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the right way to say it. This is just how my brain works. All of their plays, they have 4 or 5 what you would call plays, and those are part of their core play package. But the rest of the time, everything is almost like football. So they have code words, and when they say fist, that means ball screen. When they say fist up, that means ball screen, pop. When they use certain numbers, that's the positions that are involved in the actions. So like if you were to, they have a play whiteboard, and so when you look at their play board, that's telling you the play as long as you know the meaning of the words. So it's kind of football-esque, you know, like a quarterback in the huddle, several numbers and a lot of one-syllable words, all sounding like a fragmented sentence. That's kind of how they play offensively. Defensively, they're number 1 in our league in 3-point field goal percentage defense. Very high nationally in 2-point field goal percentage defense. They're number 1 in turnover margin in our league. They're +5, which is very, very good. So a lot of pressure defensively on the ball, a lot of pressure in the middle of the floor, everything defensively trying to keep it out of the middle. They front the post, so every pass, every dribble is contested defensively. Offensively, a lot of freedom in how they play. Number 1 has attempted more threes than any player on their team has attempted overall, which I've never seen that statistically. He's attempted 131 threes thus far, which is more attempts than any other teammate overall. They'll play small, but their starting 4-man is really their point guard. He'll play 32, 34 minutes at the point. Jimmy Witt will start at the point, but then kind of moves to the perimeter. Probably more ball screens than we've played against all year long, and floor very well spaced. A lot of spacing, what we would call hot action. And anytime there's hot action, there's something going on to score. There's always cold action going on, NBA-esque, where you get absorbed in the cold, so the hot is even hotter, so to say. So we'll have to do a really good job of knowing who's hot and who's cold, because we need our cold defenders to help our hot defenders, if that makes sense.
Looking at the top of the standings right now, some different SEC teams are kind of leading the way as maybe some of the years past. You see, it's this kind of a unique year to kind of be your first in
Yeah,
SEC
Travis, you probably know about it more than I do, and I always try to make sure I don't sound like a coach. But I don't know, I'm not familiar with the trends in years past, and so I don't really know. And it's kind of like when I start studying Arkansas, should I study Arkansas? I should for their personnel. Should I study Nevada because he's doing the exact same stuff? 9 returning players, that's a lot when there's a job change. But their style of play is Nevada relative to Arkansas personnel. But how would I compare Texas A&M and or Arkansas to the rest of the league? I don't really know. And you know this through 11 games, have been very absorbed in making sure we do everything we can to try to be in our games. And so I haven't spent a lot of time, what's going on. LSU got beat by East Tennessee. Oh, they did? I didn't know. So I don't, South Carolina wins at Virginia. I happened to see that game. That was the Sunday after we played Oregon State. And then they lost to Stetson the next game. So I kind of know bits and pieces of that, but how does it relate to years past or what the media voted preseason? I don't have enough time to study that part.
So you had me at Walmart and Tyson Chicken.
Yeah,
Well,
go over there
what
to
was
try
that?
to learn.
Okay, what was that about? What?
I know my job is that of a coach, but I have an insatiable curiosity for anything that I can learn from. It doesn't matter if it's business or sports or authors, and so I kind of plan my off seasons based on where can I take myself out of the world that I live in and go somewhere and learn something, and maybe take what I learned and translate it back to the world that I live in. And so years ago, I thought it was interesting in that Fayetteville area, there's more millionaires per square mile than any other town in America. And that didn't seem to fit what I thought would be right. And so I just wanted to learn, and obviously a lot of that came from Walmart and studying Mr. Walton and how did it become the Walmart that we know, and how did Tyson Chicken get there? And well, it was because of Walmart, and now Walmart sells all Tyson Chicken. And then I learned more about the Tyson Chicken actually makes a lot of other chicken. It's just wrapped in other wrapping other than Tyson Chicken, which kind of bothered me. And I'm not saying any of it egotistically. I just went over there trying to learn, not to be a basketball coach. And so I had to work through some relationships to get over there to try to learn something.
Does that make you the basketball version of Mike Leach?
No, I love Coach. Love Coach. You guys may not from the lens or chair that you guys sit in, but I love how his brain operates. And I think he's a savant in many ways, particularly as a coach, in what he's been able to do at the places that he's been at. But sometimes I understand it doesn't come across publicly very well, but I try to hide my idiosyncrasies better, maybe.
You're struggling in the three-point.
We're the worst, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, number one, why do you think that is? And number two, how do you react to that?
I just tell the truth. Not saying that's always the right thing politically. I tell our team that. If I tell our team that, I should be able to tell you, and vice versa. Never want to use the media to talk to our team, so our team is aware of that. We need to be able to shoot the ball better. Some of that has to do with the talent on the roster needing to be able to make open shots, but also some of it has to do with the types of shots that we're shooting, and we've improved in that regard. Some of that, like any other statistic that you would study, there's other meanings behind it, right? Our turnover rate has been so poor. Sometimes we just want to get the ball on the rim so we have a chance to get an offensive rebound, as opposed to having a live ball turnover. So need to spend more time shooting, which I think in some ways we've been accountable for, and then need to make sure that the shots that we are shooting are as good as shots as we can shoot, with the premise being we still need to get a shot even if we miss the shot, because potentially that's better than a turnover.
Have you had to change how you do things on offense as a result?
Yes, sir.
of the
Nothing
point
we're doing through 11 games. There's one play we run that we've ran in the past, but everything else is brand new. And I think I mentioned it to Travis one time. He had asked, and that was towards the end of November, I think. It may have been after we had finished in last place in Orlando. What are you going to do? Well, we're going to have to tighten up the play package so that we at least get a shot.
Yeah.
And in some respects, numerically, in the month of December, we have improved in that regard. And then again, now it's similar to what you just asked. Okay, well, you're getting a shot, Buzz, but you're not making the shot. And so then that's the next step. But yes, sir, what we're doing offensively is unique to this team.
With the personnel that you have, do you need to be a really good three-point shooting team, or is it that you just need to be working inside out?
Yeah, good. If you study our defensive numbers, I think we've done pretty good. I think our defense, without sounding arrogant, is complex and it takes time. And our staff, not me, our staff does a really good job of breaking down all of the different portions, the parts to the whole defense. And our team has done a really good job of absorbing it. It's not hard to figure out which guys are good at it and which guys are bad at it. And so the combos that we can play defensively, personnel-wise, are pretty succinct. That's not necessarily the best combos that we can put on the floor offensively to make another shot. The issue is no matter what offensive groupings we can put on the floor, the only chance we have is to shorten the game, make sure that at most the opponent only gets one shot. So our priorities have to be defense-based first. We're not ever going to score enough points to beat somebody. So everything is through the lens of how can we shorten the game, if that's the right way to say it, and only give them one shot. And then on the other end, how can we get a shot? And that's maybe a little harder than it should be in January. How can we get a shot and not applaud that we got a shot, but to some degree, we've struggled not even being able to do that. Against Texas a month ago, 33% of the time we turned the ball over and only lost by 10. Well, how does that mathematically, how do you explain that? Well, we have to lower the turnover rate just to give ourselves a chance, and then we have to do an inordinate job on the glass, even though our size says we shouldn't. And then defensively, can we keep them out of the paint, never foul them, and can we make them shoot a bunch of threes, and it's a long shot, and we get the long rebounds? And potentially, could we score real fast in transition since it was a long rebound? Nebo has, over the last month, given us a good problem. He does need more shots. Half of his shots need to come off offensive rebounds, we hope. But the other half, how can we get it to him? And maybe 1 out of every 6 times he gets an and one. The issue, Travis, is, okay, how can we dribble it to that spot and then pass it to that spot? And we're not real good at that all the time. And saying this respectfully, if you know, kind of everybody knows we probably should throw the ball to Nebo. And so the defense is wired to not allow you to do that. And the pressure on the ball and the pressure on the pass, we don't do a great job of handling. And we're trying to work on that too.
Is
Last
Cash,
one.
6 wins, non-conference, not all prettiest wins, but what do you think your team has learned from the ability to kind of grind out some of the tough wins, especially when it's
I
close?
think that's a good way of saying it. I try not to ever use the word grind because it's become so popular, but I do think our guys have kind of learned that, particularly this month. I think we've improved a lot at the end of November in comparison to where we are now. How does that translate to the SEC? And we're going to play completely different talent, completely different ambiance, as he mentioned, environments. I don't know, but I think we've improved. Will the results show that? I don't know. I think our kids have become maybe more comfortable than I have as a coach in it's going to be a grind and it's not going to be a blowout, and there are going to be runs that shouldn't be runs by the opponent. I thought the game against Texas Southern was another reminder to me of maybe how comfortable they feel in, yeah, we know this is going to be a fight per se. So I have great respect for how they've handled that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah.